Hello my friends, it's Andre here again. I hope that you are here, that you haven't melted yet. At least there's a situation here in Czech Republic. Currently it's so hot outside that I even have to have all the doors in my flat open. Otherwise it's just impossible to be here. And you always have to close the outside facing windows, till 7 a.m. Otherwise it's so hot here and I don't have air conditioning. So it's quite hard to work under these conditions. And I have a dog. I don't know if you guys know, but I do have a dog. So if you hear some weird noises around me, some drinking, and things like that, that's the dog here. And she usually sleeps under my desk whenever I'm doing streams, or she's outside the room. But as I said, I'm not able to close the doors now. So please excuse that if that happens. Otherwise, today, as you can see, I was not able to update the stream graphics. I still want to do that. I still think that by switching from Twitch to YouTube, I should give some love to the visuals as well. So you see that there are some visuals still from Twitch. I did remove the chat because that was not relevant, and I moved myself to the left and upper part of the screen, which actually helps a lot because I have the green screen behind me, and it seems to be much nicer if I'm, if I have a black or dark background behind me. So at least that's that. But let's take a look at what we want to do today. So today I was working on the flexboxing stuff and CSS stuff just like we did last time. But I'm almost finished with that. I'll be publishing an article about it, probably somewhere externally. So I'll let you know when that happens. Until then, the next thing I want to do is to actually migrate one of the websites that I worked on in the past. So it's the Kentico Advantage site. You see I already opened the repository on GitHub of the site. And I used to work on this one. It was my first website on Gatsby. So you see that the significant commits are 2 years ago, so it's been around for quite some time, and it's still running on advantage.kentico.com. Let's take a look at how the website looks like. So as I said, it's built on Gatsby. It gets data from Kentico content, and it contains some kind of some kind of information about how to build projects with Kentico experience. That's a traditional CMS. But that's not important in this case. What's important is that this page gets content from a headless CMS, and it uses its respective Gatsby source plugin. Now, because the website is over 2 years old, and it uses, as far as I know, it still uses the old plugin for Gatsby. So that's what I want to change today. That's what I want to upgrade today. I want to start using the new version. The new version that's called the first class source plugin for Gatsby has a lot of new features. It's significantly faster. It's actually the fastest Gatsby source plugin ever. So I want to change that. I want this website to be using the fastest plugin available, which should take down the build times. I think that we're using Travis here. But for example, if you use Netlify, then there are only certain 3 minutes, right? So whatever we can save during build is a great thing, because we can do more builds then. So that's what I want to do today. And before I start doing that, I don't want to do it under this repository, so I'm just going to fork it to my own space here. So this should take a few seconds. And I already prepared a folder where I want to clone this repository, and we'll see if I'll be actually able to run it. So let's clone that here. But this is fairly easy site, so no special features or things like that. So it shouldn't be that hard. So let's take a look. So first let's install the modules. So I tried to do the same thing with gatsbyjs.org site just earlier this week, and the build took 3.5 hours, which was crazy, and it didn't work in the end anyway. So let's see if this is gonna work. So, okay. Oops, no such file or directory. How come there is... Ooh, did I get the wrong branch? Yes, I did. So, you see, in the master branch, there is the generated website. What we're looking for is the source branch. So there we can get the package.json. So let me fix that. So I usually, for Git related stuff, I use source tree. Not sure if you know this tool. It's a great UI tool for anything Git related, made by Atlassian. And let me just do this on the next screen. So I'm just gonna add the repository here. Okay, here we go. So I added the repository, and we should see the branches here in a moment. Yeah, here we go. Okay, it created package lock, so I don't want that. Yes, remove that. But we should also see some branches here. So we're looking for the source branch. Let's take a look. So here is the source branch. Let's check it out. Okay, that looks much better. Now let's take a look. Here we go. So critical advantage, we have package.json here, so we're good to go. And let's try to install the packages again. So the story with the Gatsby site taking 3.5 hours to build, that was because I wanted to check how my blog post would look like. So I sent a pull request with a blog post to Gatsby, and I wanted to check how that's gonna look like on the site, but I wasn't able to do that. The site built, but it was showing some kind of errors, and after 3.5 hours, I was really not happy to give it any more time. So I just checked the markdown, and the markdown looked nice, so I just created a pull request like that. And I hope that people from Gatsby will take a look. I know that they do quite nice reviews. So last time, that was actually the blog post that I published about languages, multiple languages with Gatsby. I don't remember who was the reviewer, but her comments were so good and so to the point. That I consider that the biggest benefit of contributing to someone's blog. And I have the same experience with Gatsby as I have with FreeCodeCamp. And at FreeCodeCamp, it's Abby, who's the editor and does the reviews. And the reviews are always so good. You know, they take my article, because I'm not a native speaker, so they take my articles always to the next level. And I really appreciate it. So I see that that's a great value that I'm getting from that. Apart from sharing the experience with the community, which is always good. Yeah. So that was the story with Gatsby. I don't know what took there so long. I think that the build was generating 25,000 images or something like that. So that was crazy. Alright, so we got the packages installed. Now let's take a look if I can actually run Gatsby develop. Okay, seems to be doing something. Okay, this implementation of the source plugin even lists all the nodes on the screen. Now the new one doesn't do that, because that's a lot of data. But it seems to work. Almost there. So the queries were executed, so I think we're almost there. There we go. Localhost 8000. Nice. So we got Kentico Advantage running locally. So that's what I wanted to do as a first step. Now let's take a look at the new version of the plugin. So let's take a look at gatsbyjs.com. I think that's the best place to start. So let's take a look at bring data from anywhere. And we should be somewhere over here. Okay, let's take a look here. Features, plugins. We are looking for source plugin. Source content, that's what we want. So see, this is a Gatsby v2 source plugin. And I think that in this website, let me open that in code. So when I look at the package.json here, I think this still uses Kentico Cloud source plugin. Wow, that's a long time. So what we want to do is pretty much do what this page tells us. So we want to install this plugin. Okay. So npm install Kentico Gatsby source content. And save it. Now let's take a look if there are any questions. There are no questions, so guys, if you do have any questions, feel free to let me know, or just let me know where you're from and how are you today. It's the mid of summer, so if you're not somewhere in aqua parks or getting yourself a good, nice, cold ice cream or coffee, let me know what you're doing. What I'm doing is I'm installing Gatsby source content plugin. So we'll see if this works. Then the next step would be to actually get rid of the Gatsby source Kentico Cloud plugin here. And we're probably gonna have to do some configuration in Gatsby config. So if you see here that this is the project ID, let me actually store this somewhere. I'm gonna put it here on my next screen in a notepad. And there are some type resolvers. We're probably gonna have to change these two, but we'll see. All right, so the plugin is installed now. And I never know. Okay, let's try this. So we're looking at this package, and I want to uninstall this one. So it's Gatsby source. Let's remove this. Gatsby source Kentico Cloud. So I really want to get rid of that. The way how I will find out that this, okay, let me stop this actually. I should have done that before. So the way how I will find out that this works is that when I run the site, it shouldn't render anything. So we'll see. Okay, so the Gatsby source content plugin is here. That's good. Now we're trying to get rid of this one. And I think there should also be, let me see. So this is the npm package. And I think there is a link for the repo. Yeah, here we go. So we're looking for Gatsby source content plugin. So there is usage. Okay, I think we're gonna need to use this. Rich text, images, and links. How to query for data. Okay, so let's see. So this was finished. Let's see if it actually updated the file. Yeah, no longer there. So now we can try to run Gatsby develop. And we'll see. I'm not actually sure if the configuration changed, but this is completely different plugin, so it shouldn't, yeah, this shouldn't work. Okay, we got an error. Unable to find plugin Gatsby source Candico Cloud. But that's fine. That's because I do have it here. So, all right, let's fix this a bit. This should be up here. And I think we can comment this out and add here a new one, which I'll try to copy paste from here. All right, so that's this part. So we're gonna copy the project ID. And language code name is just default, so that's fine. We can also define the query config. I think that's supported the same way. Now let's try to do that. So just one of the options. Like this. Cool. All right, let's try to do it again. Okay, now this makes sense. Because the new plugin is probably treating it a different way. So let's see where that is happening. So in Gatsby node 54, so that's the first problem, because we're trying to get the data from a property that is no longer there. So I probably need to change this. So the create pages export. Okay, let's comment this out for now. And let's try to run at least the index page. See if that works, but I think it's gonna complain about that one as well. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get to the graph EQL Explorer so that I can compose these queries again. Which shouldn't be that hard, I mean. So there's an error here. Of course, the property is not there. Okay, failed to compile. Cannot read property of query. But I still want to get to the graph EQL. So let's see if that is running. No, it doesn't seem like it is. Okay, so let's see what the problem is. So we're looking at source. The first page is index. And here we have the Jumbotron, and these are end project phases. So let's comment this out. And let's see what we can do. Okay, still doesn't like something. Components menu. Okay, that makes sense. So in the layout, there is probably somewhere. So there are breadcrumbs here. Let me see if the breadcrumbs are actually on the page somewhere. I mean, on the main page. Advantage. Nope. So there are no breadcrumbs here. There's just the main menu, which is composed by the data from the headless CMS. So that makes sense that it's complaining. So let me find the menu here. And that is in the layout. There's some styles here, some icons here. So it's in the right bar. Oh, here it is. So let's comment this out. Let's see. Recompiling still. Components, project phases. Okay, so it's not enough to actually comment it out. So, all right, let me jump here. There's some styles here. Yeah, so there is the static query. Okay, let me actually do one more thing. So I'm just gonna remove this. See if that helps, at least with the project phases. Seems it does. Okay. So let's also remove the layout. And that should, okay, let me just comment this. No, not the whole thing, just this part. Nope, he still doesn't like that. In source menu. All right, well, I'll probably have to go through all these things. So let me just, remove these queries. Okay, now he's complaining. He was expecting some stuff. No, he doesn't like that too. All right, so we can't just remove that. So how do we... Oh. So I have a few messages in the chat. You should rerun Gatsby develop. Okay, let's try that. So again, the only thing I wanna get to is to actually have the GraphQL Explorer available. Otherwise, I won't be able to compose the queries. Yeah. So. Okay, a few errors here. So far, so good. No, still failed to compile, so I don't get access to anything. Okay. That's not ideal. But maybe I just need to change these all canonical cloud to all content. Because that's the only thing it seems to be complaining about. So that changed with the rebranding. So let me actually do that. That's quite easy change. Maybe that's all it takes to fix this. So one here, one there. In the breadcrumbs as well. You know, what I could actually do is... So can I do like a project-wide replace here? We want this to be fixed as well, so let's see now. Okay, still some errors here. Cannot query field system on child items 2. Oh, Shift Control H. Okay. Nice. All right. So all canonical cloud want to be all content. Okay, so we got some in the Gatsby node. We got some in the project phases, next pref buttons, and so on. I think that this is it's quite safe to do this. So replace all, yes. Awesome. Thank you for the tip. So this worked. Nice. So oops, a bit slow. Okay, now let's try to run it again. Okay, something. Okay, it's running. Cool. Okay, so still failed to compile. All right. Cannot query field system on child items 2. Okay, so we are here. Maybe make this a bit bigger. Oops, that might be a bit too much. So I don't know if that's system on type child item. So if it's this one or this one, I wonder if there's any way how to run the graph EQL. So how to just run the EQL Explorer, nothing else. Wow, this is slow. Gatsby.js.org. Why is that page so slow? Okay, when the build fails in development mode, it would be helpful if the GraphQL. Okay, that sounds exactly what I need. Maybe it runs. Okay, it runs actually. Wow. Okay, I thought that it doesn't work when the failed build causes these errors, but all right. Well, that solves a lot of issues now, because right now, what I can do is, okay, let's move this a bit around. What I can do is just take this query and check it out. Okay, now we got, let's make this pretty. So line 7:35. Okay, so on child items, there is no system. And we're looking for ID, but there is only type, name, and value. Okay. So let's take a look what we actually want with this. So we want all the phases, and we want all the navigation items. And then we take all the navigation items, their children, and we are actually looking for child items of that navigation item. Okay, let's take a look at how that data actually looks like in the headless CMS. Now let me switch the project quickly. So, update Gatsby to have the graph EQL with Explorer. I could do that probably. That's a good idea. So, let's see. Package.json, Gatsby. So npm. How do you actually update a package? npm update. Ooh, this is gonna be fun. Okay, while this runs, let me switch to the Kentico Advantage project here. So this should be the same project ID as we have in the Gatsby config. C1B57. Yeah, that's the one. So let's take a look at all the content, what we are actually dealing with. So there are some navigation items here. So that's navigation route. Let's see what's in there. These are the project phases, and there is a conclusion here. Okay, so I think that, let's take a look at the website again. So the project phases and conclusion. So when we look at the navigation route, we can just get this item, and these are the first level items here in the menu. So project phases and conclusion, project phases and conclusion. So we're starting with the navigation item route, and we're going down to child items. Now let's give this a second, but this query starts to make more sense. So when we look at this, we were first getting the element which URL value equals the tilde sign. So when you look here, the URL is exactly that. So we're getting this item, and we're getting the child items of that item. So that makes sense. But I still don't know why we're getting the content item phases. And we're getting IDs and subphases and their IDs. For the menu, it doesn't seem like it makes any sense. So if we look here at the project phases, there are the gathering, planning, developing, blah, blah, blah. So all the phases here. And that's all we're looking for. So let's check this one to see what happens here. So this one has a custom URL, and the URL is gathering. So, sorry. So this should go to gathering, /gathering, and it does. It does, okay. So we don't need the phases for anything here. So let's take a look at the menu, why we are getting that data. So we're always using the content item navigation. And here we have all content item phase. So we're filtering. Oh, okay, so we're only doing that if the active page ID equals the system ID of that page. So this is for marking the item as active. So this part. And if that page is not active, we are filtering the phases to find the one. Ooh, okay. So this is actually for checking if this should be bold. So in case the phase is active or any of its subphases, so we're right now under gathering and functional requirements, in that case this needs to be bold. So that makes sense. So for that reason we need to get also the phases from the GraphQL. Because there is no way how to actually bind it. You see that the functional requirements page has a different structure. So everything is in one level, which might not be the best, to be honest. But this is the way how it works, so I'm just gonna stick with it. Okay. So I don't know how long this is gonna take. Let's see if there are any questions here. Nope, no questions here. So yeah, this might take a while. Seems like it's in a half. Right, so, but the good thing is that, you know, slowly, as you go and try to update the plugins and update the implementation, you slowly start, you know, getting how the implementation works. And there's a lot to learn from, you know. You see how you did things in the past and how you would how you would do it now. So here we're getting the left bar. Here we have the powered by. And the menu, which is here. So we'll definitely need the Explorer. We need to find out how we can get to the items that Gatsby claims are not available. And the rest. So I assume this is no longer running. Yeah. Can't be reached. So this is, I think this is still updating the content delivery. So content core. Yeah, we'll see. It's npm, so it probably downloads the half of the internet. So I'm interested in actually how the breadcrumbs also work. So we took a look at the menu here. So I'm just trying to figure out if there is, okay, here we also get the all content item phases. Because if there was such a complicated hierarchy definition in the main menu, I assume that the breadcrumbs are going to be pretty much the same. So yeah, here we're also getting the first navigation item. And we're getting its child items. And then for every child item, we're also getting its child items. Content item. Right. So this is pretty much the same logic as far as I can tell. So we're trying to find the first level item. And then push it to the breadcrumbs if it was there. Right. And then we're actually searching through subphases. All right. Not the best code, I have to say, but yeah, it's 2 years ago. So I think this was one of the cases when you just want to get it done. So you find the fastest way how to do that. Then the website just lives on its own, but it works. It works till these days, so it's fast, so that's the main point. Okay, so we're still updating. It wasn't probably the wisest thing to do, but here we are. So we got 10 more minutes. We'll see if at least the update can finish. But so far it doesn't seem like it. And it seems that it's still downloading data. Now let's see if there is any kind of guide. for upgrading. Upgrade, oh, here we go. So content Gatsby packages, tree master packages, Gatsby source content. There is a upgrade instructions, C upgrade section. So that's what I want to do. So we're upgrading, we're probably not upgrading from 5. I think the version that I was using was a bit older. We can actually take a look how old that was, because I didn't push anything yet. We can also take a look here. If we look at the files, so that would be package.json. So I was using the Gatsby source Kentico Cloud 2.3.0. So you see, this was already 3 versions behind. So let's take a look. So there were some breaking changes, blah, blah, blah. Okay, from 3 to 4. There's nothing from 2 to 3. All right, so I'm on my own here. Okay, we can at least check if, okay, I think this is a bit different. Let me check my Gatsby config here. So the query config is here. So we're looking at okay. Gatsby source content options, but this doesn't seem right because when I looked at this page, it said that there is just project ID. And here it says delivery client config project ID. This is from 3 to 4. I wonder if this changed again from 4 to 5. What we can actually do is we can check one of the sample sites. So I'm just going to open this again. Or we can take a look at this page. Yeah, so it says project ID. Project ID. Let's see if there is a preview. For a preview, secret API depends on use preview URL config. Consider using .env package for storing the keys securely in environment variables. Okay. So we want to do the use preview mode. So that's under options, project ID, language code names. And then it's actually directly under that. So we're just going to remove the query config and only use the use preview mode. Oh, use preview URL. Okay. To true. And I think we're going to need authorization key. Which we're probably going to have to add using the .env. So I'm just going to keep this empty for now. And the edit is still running. I think this is not going to finish today. So I got 5 more minutes. And I think that we're gonna have to leave this for the next time. But it seems, okay, so the biggest change it seems that happened here was with the naming, and that we don't have everything available here. So it says that some elements property names changed in the guide. So the result HTML was removed. I think we're gonna have some issues with that. Some modular contents moved. We're using that a lot in the Kentucky Advantage site, so I think we're gonna have to fix that too. And language variants are not relevant here because this is using only one language, and that is English. The relationships are also not relevant because we're not using any links between items here. So the only thing that will be a problem is probably the rich text, modular content, and the fact that we don't have everything available here in the GraphQL. But we're gonna figure that out when this updates, when we have access to the new GraphQL Explorer. Then we're gonna have to figure out how to change it, how to make sure to get all the data in, and perhaps change the implementation as well, because sometimes that is easier to change the implementation than to get all the data manipulated somehow during build, and keep the old implementation. So we might do a bit of that as well. But we're still just slightly after half of the update, so I think this is gonna take another half an hour to hour to finish. So we're gonna save that for the next time. These I tried to keep these streams under an hour, so let's keep this one for the next time, and I hope that the next time I'll be able to finish this to prove that it's not that hard to do. But of course, this hasn't been touched for 2 years, so the update is significantly big. But anyway, thanks guys for watching. Join me next time, next Thursday as well. We're gonna continue this. We're gonna figure out how to change the GraphQL queries, and hopefully we're gonna get the site up and running again and create a pull request. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.